money is a rare thing in this entire world right now. Money is, originally it was currency that was backed by something of substance. Throughout our history, we've had all kinds of valuable, tangible things that backed our currency. Our indigenous peoples used many things: shells, polished stones, but it was always backed by something, be it livestock, be it abilities to do certain things. In this country now, money doesn't exist. These dollar bills, whether it be a 5 or 10 or 20 or 50, it's worthless. They're printed for pennies.
What?
That is correct. And they're circulated throughout this society, and the amount of the money that's in society is controlled by the banks. You know, the international bankers, the federal. Who is the Fed? Let me ask you that.
The Federal Reserve?
Yeah, who are?
That's a private corporation.
That's right.
They call it a quasi-government corporation or organization. And so they're doing a lot of big business. When we have to, I've learned to just respect them for doing what they do. All right, because
you have to respect.
If they wouldn't do that, you wouldn't do what you're destined to do. And waking up to your own government, your own nation, and most importantly, handling your own business. Because we trust some of these corporations that we think are government agencies.
Mind control, conditioning, over decades, long before
our mothers
any
trusted
of us
them first.
were born.
Our mothers trusted them first.
Still trust them today.
That's right.
Many of
When the
don't know
mothers
what we
sign
know.
their children over with that birth certificate, what you're doing, mothers, you're signing your children over into the commerce game. They become a livestock.
all of you.
That's what a birth certificate does. It transfers the ownership of your child from your own personal ownership to a bank.
all your hard labor.
Bank. You sign a birth certificate. They take that birth certificate to a depository trust company. They take out a loan on it. Yeah, they get money for it.
All right.
So if you're talking to the women and say to you turning them over, they gonna say, well, what do I do? How do I not turn them over? Help me out.
Right.
I don't want to
That's
do that.
right.
I don't. They not knowingly doing it.
No, they're not knowingly doing it.
So help us
it's
out.
From intimidation. That's what it is. Because the mothers that know, you know, when they're in the hospital and they say, okay, well, it's time for the birth certificate, and they say, no, I don't want a birth certificate. What they tell a mother is, you cannot take your child up out of this hospital without a birth certificate. Well, that's a lie. It's a lie that they are trained to tell you. The truth of the matter is, you need a birth record.
Well, it's a very effective lie because
If you don't know,
especially in our community.
so you
That's
just
right.
have to be able to
That's
create it yourself.
That's right. But know this, all you need to take your child with you is a birth record. They cannot push or force a birth certificate on you. They'll try
What is
to
a
take
birth
you-
record?
A birth record is a record of live birth.
Without the bond.
Without the bond attached. You don't have to have a birth certificate. Although, you know, it to one of knowledge, it's not necessarily a dangerous thing because there is the remedy. But, you know, just for the mothers out there that are intimidated and afraid to stand up to them and refuse a birth certificate, they can't keep your child because you don't get a birth certificate. Get a birth record.
Perfect.
Take a birth record and you walk up out of there proud. But if that's not for you, you know, if you don't know what comes beyond that, I suggest you find out before you find yourself in that situation. You know, don't watch soap operas. Stay away from the soap when you should be, you know, finding out, well, who owns you?
Knowledge of self.
Who owns you? You know, we looking at all these fancy numbers on our driver's license, on our birth certificate, on our social security card. You flip that social security card over on the back, and you find a bunch of red numbers. What are those red numbers? It's a bond. It represents a bond, and a bond that you own. Now, speaking of what money is and what's backing the money in this country, you know, they eliminated the gold standard.
1933.
1933, exactly. They eliminated that. And
What does that mean? They eliminated the gold standard. What are you talking about?
That gold is no longer backing the money.
All right. So what are you talking about?
Since that, well, if there's no gold backing the money, what gives it value?
You do.
There's something called human resources. You know, they, like I said, when you're born, they take your birth certificate and they take out a loan, they get bonds, and they get something called full faith and credit, which gives the money the value. Full faith and credit. Study it, Google it.
Perfect.
Check it out.
Full faith and credit.
Full faith and credit. Now, what they're doing is using your full faith and credit to back the monetary system. Believe it or not, those red numbers that's on the back of your birth certificate is on money somewhere.
Right.
These numbers right here. Where's some money at? Somebody got some money?
What you call money? There you go.
These
FRNs.
numbers right here.
Federal Reserve notes.
Those numbers.
Wait a minute, let me get you some zoom going on. All right, we got you now.
See it? Those numbers is on the back of somebody's social security card. And if you have a social security card, your numbers is printed on some money somewhere. That's because you give that money value.
So that number and this on the social security card, it links to an account.
That's right.
And so that's why the UCC process is able to give you a remedy.
Right.
It's because there's an account.
That is your remedy.
Right.
They're in such bad standing, let's say. Their functions have been so illegal for so long that if they didn't make a remedy exist, they would be liable.
Right. They had to give a remedy.
Exactly. Now, the beauty of it is for them is they gave a remedy.
Supply the remedy. They ain't got to tell you about
ain't gotta tell you.
it. Ignorance is no excuse.
No.
Right.
Right. You have
So
to come up with your
can't
own
get unplugged
knowledge.
from the matrix if you don't know you in there.
Right. Even after you know, you are still
It's still
denied that
difficult.
you was in there.
That's right.
That's why you was able to
Every
see.
aspect of your life, everything that you want to do, there's an adhesion contract behind it. Ties you right to Uncle Sam.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
you gotta kill it to get out.
That's because in that state you're chattel. You know, if there's a bank holding the bond with your name on it and the whole value behind your social insurance, then that makes you someone else's property. That makes you the property of a Federal Reserve Bank. You know, if a bank is holding the bond that with your name on it, your name, your
number.
social security number on it, your actual bond number
Well,
on
the
it,
central bank
and they're trading it.
owns all of them.
on the market. Been trading it ever since you was born. So now what are we gonna do?
I'm not sure the method because every time somebody finds out, there's a way to go on the stock exchange. You can go to fidelity.com somehow and put in your information and find out exactly what they're trading your bond for,
Right.
how much you're worth.
Well, they
And-
just killed it.
and well, they changed the method.
Right.
It's still there, but we got to find out how to do it all over again. But I've seen some of them myself, and you know we talking about young people now. You know, I know a cat that's probably like 22 years old. He went on there, you know, to see what his bond was for. Take a wild guess.
Too big.
2 billion? I was thinking about $1 million. And it was 2 billion?
20.
20
Yeah.
billion? Yeah, so that's a lot
That's a
of
young hustling cat.
currency.
That's right.
And so